I would say child raising. I think that women continue to be, in general, good, strong mothers, but I think that the reason kids are so weak and soft these days is, and not entirely to the man's fault, there is no testosterone in our society anymore. So there is not as much of a masculine influence over our kids.
Is masculinity frowned upon?
Currently it is, and I think that is awful. I think that we've stripped men of their masculinity.
I think masculinity is very important, as is femininity.
Mm-hmm. And that's why.
And you basically have women who have become more masculine and men who have become more feminine.
Correct. And I think it hurts
and who
society.
do we have to blame for that?
Media, social media.
Feminism.
Eating too much
agree.
soy.
No, I agree.
No, eating too much soy. There's a lot of estrogen in soy products. I'm sorry.
It's in everything.
Like, it's true.
Sure, I
And
suppose diet
Yeah.
and there's plastics out there
And
in
it's
the water.
it's not just diet. It's not just the singular consumer's fault. Our structures and our I'm all for capitalism, but capitalism has emphasized, just profit margins with worse products. Therefore, just overuse soil and put soy in everything. And it's not necessarily men's fault, but like the people running our country have just like disintegrated what like the just basis of what human beings should interact with.
We're all slaves.
Wait, hold on. I want to give Reese an opportunity here because you made a little face. What?
I've been making a lot of faces.
Okay, what was this most recent face about?
Oh, pertaining to what part?
I think I said
a lot of things
feminism
said.
is to blame.
No, it's soy.
Oh, feminism is to blame. Because the way that I view feminism and the way I believe that like it's technically defined, it's about equality between men and women. It's not trying to make men less masculine or women.
Erroneous.
What the f***? Why does the asteroid keep coming?
I like it.
Wait, Eric, you're going to have to hide that. What the f***?
Start civilization over is what they're saying.
Yeah, I don't know why it's... yeah, I don't know why I'm not... Just hide it. Okay, go ahead.
But anyways,
you said it's about equality.
It's about equality, and I personally don't view exploring the spectrum of masculinity and femininity between both genders to be necessarily a bad thing.
Can I respond to that? I think feminism today has gone a lot further than equality. And I think modern feminism is a lot different than feminism was maybe
in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, feminism's always been a man-hating ideology. However, it's taken quite some steps forward in that recently. I reject this idea that feminism is about equality. And here's why. I believe feminism in its most, if I give it the most generous definition, is a women's advocacy movement. And that's great. Women's advocacy is great. However, that's not the same as equality. Feminists don't advocate for equality if said equality comes to the detriment of women. So if there is no benefit to be reaped by said equality in terms of benefit that benefits women, feminists will not pursue it. So you'll fight for equality if said equality benefits women, but not if it doesn't. Not if it doesn't.
Yeah.
So take, for example, the right to vote. Women, for a period of time, I mean, it's a very small period of time when we're looking at it, but for a period of time, men had the right to vote, women didn't. And well, the reason why that is because men had responsibilities. Chiefly, in order for you to be able to vote as a man, you had to be subject to military conscription. Women never had that responsibility, but
They
women,
never had that option. Not responsibility.
that's a
They never had
privilege.
the option.
That's a privilege to not go to the Argonne forest in France in 1917 and go get chemical gas by the Germans. That's a privilege.
Part of that's biological, though. Like we're weaker. Like genetically, we're weaker.
Yes,
the
women are
the
physically
only
weaker.
society that was like the Vikings, and like women fought side by side with men. But like grown man strength is different, and you guys have different skill sets. Just like you men are physically superior, like when it comes to just like actual physicality and like knowledge of the body,
Yeah.
and like what is it, kinesiology?
Okay, that's fine.
Like,
yes, I
so
agree.
that makes
yes,
sense.
I agree with you.
Right?
Men are physically stronger. Men make better soldiers. It's true. However, that doesn't change the fact that some poor 18-year-old boy in Kentucky had to go to the Maginot Line in France and go get trench foot and get obliterated
I
by a
agree.
shell in 1918.
I agree.
You know, I don't know if you guys know the body count on the death counts or the casualties in World War I and World War II, which are almost exclusively male casualties.
Who started the wars?
Actually, they've done studies on this. Queens were much more likely to wage wars than kings.
Yep.
In any case, so saying that.
Okay,
Hold
so
on.
okay.
Jesus Christ!
What does that mean?
Oh, it got disconnected.
Well, Brian, you said never say never in a screw you way. Bring on Gavin McGuinness. You trolled people with feminists for Trump.
Wait.
You got away with
Oh.
it. Is he so much different? Maybe better at walking the line. And I know it. His voice matters. Constitution exists.
Yo, Aaron Chambers, yeah, thank you for the big $200 donation. I might be down to bring on Gavin. We'll see. But hey, thank you, man, so much for that big $200 donation, man. That's huge, man. Thank you. So you said that men are to blame for the
I
wars.
didn't say that. I just asked a question.
Okay, so I'm trying to return to my original point, which was
The responsibilities that men take on versus women. Yeah.
yeah. So you don't see women fighting to equalize the draft. That would be equality, but I don't hear women aren't in the streets demanding that they also be drafted or be subject to the draft.
I would agree with you that society is extremely unfair to men, and that the burden that they have on them and the box that they're put in is like substantially unequal. And while women have their issues and those are important as well, I don't think it's right to just dismiss men's issues at all. However, okay, we can look at like the queens and other societies, but talking about America, let's keep it to America. We didn't create this system. Do we benefit off of it in some ways? Yes. Did we fight to change it? Yes. Did it go too far in some places? Yes. And you use logic and knowledge and debate and common sense to try and get to a place that's good for everybody. But it's like saying that men have problems too shouldn't discredit any like women's issues, because also, real quick side note, like not all women had the right to vote super like long ago. It was 1964 when black and brown women got the right to vote, but which is very recent. But also it shouldn't happen the other way
Can we
around
get a fact
either.
check on that? I'm not convinced.
That's when the civil rights movement was. And then, so then also,
When do you think it was?
Well, I know
Blacks got the
I
right
know-
to vote before women.
I'm pretty sure
but
ratification.
black
black people,
Yeah.
yeah,
Are you
no,
talking
white
about
women.
Are you talking about the poll tax?
No, I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure
white
you're
women.
factually wrong on there.
Okay,
So women,
the civil rights movement was 1964. Just
but I'm not sure
FYI.
that's related to voting. There were other.
It was voting rights. They did technically have the right to
There were
vote
barriers,
illegally.
yes.
However, they had all these kind of like roadblocks.
Okay, so you're talking about intersectionality.
Yes.
At the end of the day, women
But
got the right to vote in
that does-
1920.
white women. That does matter though.
All women got the right to vote in 1920.
Not equitably. But we're getting off track.
I'm not
because
familiar
my point,
with that information point, but it's
my,
kind of irrelevant.
We're getting
but-
off point though, because my point is also that like women's issues shouldn't negate men's issues either, like at all. And it's unfair
what
that
issues
society,
do you have as a woman? What issue do you have? What issues do y'all have? I would love to hear.
We're not always safe in all spaces.
Who's safe in all spaces? I'm not safe in all spaces.
Actually,
No, I agree with
You're
you,
not
but
safe in all
you're
spaces?
we're more
Is it you're-
subject to
weren't
other
you preaching
forms
before
of,
that you're a protector? I mean, you're going to be safer in a lot more spaces
so you
than I'll
should
be.
you
You're-
should
That's
No,
actually not
you
true.
should
I'm more likely to
empathize.
be
You should- no,
assaulted
I'm talking
before you
about
are.
okay,
No, it's
sexual
not.
assault. Let's talk about that. That's
Yes,
what I
I
mean.
am.
I didn't want to like go all the way there, but that's like a main thing that women have to worry about literally every single day, even just like on
Every-
their
And the
phones.
solution to sexual
yes, like
assault,
walking out
strong
outside.
men.
Actually,
who will protect you from sexual assault. That's the solution to sexual assault is more strong men.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not
W
saying
neighbor.
my whole point is that our issues shouldn't negate men's issues, and society
not-
is set up
I'm-
unfair for many people in many ways. But to say like, oh, well, feminism is just like man hating, it's just like a myopic view of
It's
it.
really
in-
not
in
just
my-
Fem-
but it should be womanism as well. Feminism is problematic because that's feminism. Is
Yeah,
created
I
by
don't
white
think
I mean-
men and women It's been should be dressed ugly. equal.
you don't think
Yeah.
men-
No. High five,
May
sis.
we please change the
What,
subject?
what do you mean? How so?
I don't think we are equal. I think men have a different role in this world, and so do women. We have opposite roles.
I think we should have similar opportunities, perhaps, but and
Let
the
me-
choices for the
okay.
opportunities, because everybody.
I think if a
That's a
woman
different
wants
level.
to live a masculine lifestyle, that's her
Exactly.
decision, but it's not the right one.
Oh.
And I think that
Okay, wait.
Yes.
I wasn't co-signing all of that.
Well,
What
for
the
procreation, like
Wait,
women
so-
are.
Eric,
so-
We
I-
don't need to
I-
procreate. There's 8 billion
What
people.
about LGBTQIA?
I don't support.
Oh,
Disavow.
Do you know in America the death rate is higher than the birth rate? We do need to procreate.
I just want to address one thing. A few of you guys said when we were bringing up the being assaulted and stuff, being worried walking home at night. Actually, men are more likely to be victims of violent crime.
Violent crime, probably
Who's more likely
so,
to commit
but
violent
we're talking,
crime?
Yeah,
It doesn't-
facts.
that doesn't-
But also,
Yes, you're
I
right.
was.
men are still the
The
victims
gender
of it as well.
of the perpetrator of someone who has victimized you doesn't undo the fact that you've just been victimized.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
You're right,
irrelevant.
but you can't negate like who are the main perpetrators and who are like the victim. Like what is exactly? It's a men problem. What's that got to do with women? When I spoke earlier, I was like primarily talking about sexual assault. And that is not to negate all the men that have been sexually assaulted at all. But if you want to look at the numbers, primarily women are at a higher victim.
Not
think
if you look
it's-
at the prison statistics.
Well,
Men
okay,
are more
prison
likely.
is horrible
prison, all
in
you got
general.
So if you look at
And-
everything, men
but-
are more likely to get
But
sexually
my
assaulted.
point is that like women didn't create prisons.
Or
Like
porn.
we didn't set up the systems that are
Sorry.
causing
Right,
the
and you
damage.
didn't-
We
benefit
both
from
men
them,
and
though.
And you didn't create
I
the
said
world
that.
either.
I
You
said
didn't create
women
the world
benefit.
either.
Exactly. I
Did
said
you?
women
And you
benefit
benefited
in
from it.
certain ways,
Wait.
and men do too.
So you think that if women happen to have been in charge,
No, I'm not saying
can
that.
you stop interrupting?
Sorry.
If women happen to have been in charge, you think they wouldn't have established a justice system that includes incarceration?
No, I think the way
I'm
that
just-
the
what?
American industrial
TV
prison
show about that,
system
right?
is actually just fucked up in general, and people shouldn't be put in cages. There are examples of other countries that actually rehabilitate their
Like
incarcerated
Norway?
people.
Are you talking
yeah,
like
and I'm
Norway?
not. This is very like socialist, like
you don't believe in going to jail?
No, that's not
Can
what
we
I said.
just talk about rainbows and butterflies?
No, I was gonna
please?
say, can we get to like some fun questions?
Wait,
honestly,
just
we're
like-
getting really
just like-
fucking
can we
deep.
please just
All right,
talk about
I could
dating
go all
more?
day about this.
I'm
but,
only
like,
gonna say
this
that,
ain't fun. Like it is fun, but it's not.
I do want to. Let's bring it back to dating. Let's
Like,
try
we're
to-
getting real.
Dating.
But just on the whole, like, well, it's done by other men, so it's just like, so men are killed by other men, therefore that's not a problem.
I
like,
think
I
that
just I don't understand.
okay, let me put it in one thing and we can
Okay,
honestly
10
move
seconds,
on.
10
10
seconds.
seconds. The issue is not male, female. That's all shifting social norms and practices. The issue is people in power. Power corrupts people. There's plenty of Stanford Prison Experiment. Go watch it on Netflix. That is a perfect example about how any person that gets power can corrupt them. Same with
That's so true.
yeah, like
What-
if you
what
study
does that
like
have to do
Nazi
with this?
But
Germany.
people are always
That's what
gonna
I'm
have
saying.
power.
So
That
you're
doesn't make
making it a
sense.
male-female issue, and it's becoming divisive when really the issue is how we should look at our similarities and how we can help each other. And it's like not productive to be
But,
like, well,
I
this,
agree
what
with
about,
that.
what about isms?
But
I agree
no,
with saying.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, but you have feminists to blame for this because feminists, the core tenet of feminism
Yeah.
is the patriarchy theory. Men as a class were the oppressors. It's basically Marxism, communism. Men as a class oppressed women. Women as a class are the oppressed. What does that teach women to feel about men? Nothing good.
Yeah.
If you teach this to women, you're basically teaching women to have contempt for men, and that's what we're seeing playing out in real time. Feminists are the one who have perpetuated
Yeah.
this patriarchy theory. Feminists are the one who pitted men against women and women against men. Now we as men are pushing back and we're saying, actually, no, there are some things that are shitty to us too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're playing the feminist game
Yeah,
now.
I agree. Feminism is actually really problematic in its whole ideation from the beginning of its conception. But it literally, my whole point is that I'm agreeing with you, is that men's issues shouldn't negate women's because there
I
are
agree.
no
I agree
yeah,
with
and
you.
women's issues should not negate men's, because women can't just be like, well, you guys don't have to deal with this, so shut up. Like, you created this. Like, I am making the point that like we are not to blame for the benefits that we do get for, you know, like being pretty girls and getting in free stuff and stuff. Men don't get that privilege. Men are very on in society, and they don't get to enjoy certain things like women do, and they don't get to
I
have the
think
same
men do
freedoms
get
when
those
it comes to
privileges.
expression.
Wait, you go ahead, then
Go
you
for
go
it.
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
said I think men do get those privileges sometimes.
Rich
A
men.
lot of men
It's a
that I
generalization.
have been with, and like even girls that I've seen on this show have said, I have literally paid for a bum ass dude our whole relationship. And it's very common because men are more feminine now.
That's
They're
the
not
exception,
masculine.
not the rule.
Yeah, we are talking in generality.